Okay, so this is our second day of solving by elimination. And what we're going to do here is we're going to look at equations that are a little bit different from what you've been used to looking at. So we're going to deal with equations that have decimals or brackets and fractions and how you work around with that, and then go ahead and use the procedure of elimination to solve for your variables. So the exact same steps are followed. However, there's just an extra bit of work that needs to be done in the beginning in order for you to make sure that the equations do not have either decimals, brackets, or fractions. So my first equation here is 0.5x minus 0.4y equals to 0.8. And my second equation is 0.2x minus 0.3y equals to minus 0.1, and that's my second equation. If you notice here, you have decimals, and you want to get rid of those decimals. There's only one digit that's after the decimal place here towards the right hand side, so that you're going to multiply this by a factor of 10 to get rid of the decimal. So I'm going to take my first equation, multiply it by 10, and I'm going to take my second equation, multiply that by 10 also. And when you do that, your new equation is going to look like the following. It's going to be 5x minus 4y equals to 8, and I have 2x minus 3y equals to negative 3. So then I'm going to label that equation as equation number 3 and equation number 4. And you're going to go ahead and solve this using the exact same procedure, which is solving by elimination. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to make sure that the coefficients are lined up here. Sorry, my variables are lined up here. So x's are lined up, my y's are lined up, and as well as my numbers are lined up as well. And then I'm going to eliminate a variable. So I'm going to see which variable is easier for me to eliminate. Here I have a 5 and a 2 as my coefficient in front of the x. In front of the y I have a negative 4 and negative 3. So I have a choice. I can either eliminate x or y. Neither one is going to be easier one to do. I do have to multiply both of my equations by a coefficient to be able to get the coefficient in front of the x or the y to be the exact same. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply my third equation by 2. And I'm going to multiply my fourth equation by 5 so I can get a coefficient of 10x over here as well as a 10x over here, so I can eliminate my x's. Let's go ahead and do that. So 2 times 5x is 10x. Negative 4 times 2 is a negative 8y equals to 8 times 2 is a 16. And we're going to do the exact same thing at the bottom. So 2 times 5 is a 10x. Negative 3 times 5 is a negative 15y, and negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. That's my equation number 5, equation number 6. Now that I have my coefficient in front of the x exactly the same, I can either add or subtract to get rid of my x, to get rid of my variable x. Here I have the exact same signs, so same signs, subtract. So I'm going to subtract both my equations here. So 10x minus 10x is 0x. Negative 8 minus negative 15 is going to be a positive 7y. I have 16 minus negative 15, and that is going to be 31. Okay. So let me make sure if I did this correctly. That's 16. Oh, sorry, I'm not sure where I got the negative 3 from. Apologize, that's supposed to be a negative 1. Okay, it's a negative 1, multiply that by 5, it's a negative 5. So negative 16 minus negative 5 is a 21. Okay, so that makes more sense. So here, divide both sides by 7, y equals to 3. And then you're going to substitute y equals to 3 either in equation 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, 6. You have a choice. I'm going to put it into sub y equals 3 into equation number 4. So it's 2x minus 3y equals negative 1. So that's 2x minus 3 times 3 equals negative 1. Minus 9 equals negative 1. 2x equals to 8. Divide both sides by 2x equals 2. Of 4. So therefore, my solution is x comma y, that's a 4 comma 3. Okay. My second equation here is I have brackets, so I'm going to distribute the number in front of the brackets and then collect my like terms so I get myself a new equation. I'm going to label this as equation 1, equation 2 just to start off, and then I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 2 inside, 3x minus 1, distribute the negative 1 inside of that, distribute the 4 inside of 1 minus 2x, and distribute the negative 3 inside of the following. So let's go ahead and do that and collect our like terms. So 2 times 3x is 6x, 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2, minus 1 times y is a negative y, and minus 1 times 4 is negative 4 equals to negative 7. And I'm just going to simplify that. So I have 6x minus y. I'm going to move the numbers to the other side. That's a negative 6. And when I move it over, it becomes a positive 6. So right, negative 6 equals negative 7. That's 6x minus y equals to negative 1. Okay, so that's my equation number 3. That's the same thing with the second equation here. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times negative 2x is a negative 8x. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. Negative 3 times negative y is a positive 3y equals to a negative 12. So simplifying that, I'm going to put the x's first, so negative 8x, and then have a positive 3y. 4 minus 9 is a negative 5 equals to negative 12. Simplifying that a little further, plus 3y equals to, so when I move the negative 5 to the other side, it becomes a positive 5. So negative 12 plus 5 is a negative 7. And that's equation number 4. Okay, so my two equations here that I'm dealing with is 6x minus y equals negative 1 and negative 6x plus 3y equals negative 7. I'm just going to rewrite them over here. Equation 3 and equation number 4. In order for me to eliminate a variable here, I'm just going to make sure my variables are lined up first. X are lined up, y is lined up, numbers are lined up along with my equal signs. The coefficient in front of the x is 6 and negative 8. And here I have a coefficient of negative 1 and 3. So it's easier for me to make this a 3. So just multiplying this whole equation by 3. So I'm going to take equation 3, multiply by 3. I get myself a new equation, which is, so 6 times 3 is 18x. Negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3y. I have a negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3. And that is going to be equation number 5. And I'm going to just copy down my equation 4 as it is. The negative 8x plus 3y equals to negative 7. That's equation number 4. Okay, so here the coefficient from the y is the same and they have different signs. So when they're different signs, you're going to add your two equations. So 18x plus negative 8x is 10x. My y's are eliminated. I have negative 3 plus negative 10 is negative 7 is a negative 10. So I have 10x equals to negative 10. You're going to divide both sides by 10. X equals to a negative 1. And then you're going to sub x equals to negative 1 into equation either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'm going to put it into equation number 3. So into 3. I have 6x minus y equals negative 1. 6 times negative 1 minus y equals negative 1. Negative 6 minus y. So move the negative 6 to the other side. Or I can move this negative 1 here and move the negative y to the other side. Negative 5. So therefore, my solution, which is x comma y, is a negative 1 comma negative 5. Okay. And here my next example dealing with fractions, and as we said earlier in our previous lesson, in order for you to get rid of fractions, you're going to multiply every term with a common denominator. So here I'm going to start off by labeling my equation, equation 1, equation 2. The common denominator in my first equation, so common denominator between 3 and 4 is 12. So I'm going to take every term and multiply it by 12. Okay. So here you'll notice 3 goes into 12 4 times, 4 goes into 12 3 times, and I don't have a denominator here that I can get rid of. Let's rewrite this. That's 4 times x, and then plus 3 times y equals 12 times 2, which is 24. And that's my new equation, equation 3. And we're going to do the exact same thing in our second equation. But here my denominator between, so common denominator between 3 and 2 is 6. So I'm going to multiply this term by 6, this term by 6, as well as my last term by 6. 3 goes into 6 twice, 2 goes into 6 3 times, and then here I don't have a denominator to get rid of. So I'm going to rewrite this as 2 times 2x, that's 4x, minus 3 times y is 3y, and 6 times 0 is 0. So that's my fourth equation. So now I can go ahead and eliminate a variable. Here I can either eliminate x or eliminate y. The x are lined up, y's are lined up, as well as the equal signs and numbers. Coefficient from the x is the same, coefficient from the y is the same. So I have a choice of either eliminating x or y. Here I have the same signs, here I have different signs. I'd rather add my equations than subtract them. It's a little bit easier to add than to subtract. So I'm going to add both my equations and get rid of the y. 4x plus 4x is 8x. 3y plus negative 3y is a 0y. 24 plus 0 is 24. The y's are eliminated. You're going to then divide both sides by 8. X is equal to 3. You're going to sub x equals to 3 into any one of the equation, 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1, 2 is a little bit harder to work with because they're fractions. So you can either plug it into equation 3 or 4. So I'm going to put it into equation number 4. 4x minus 3y equals 0. That's 4 times 3 minus 3y equals 0. 12 minus 3y equals 0. Move the negative 3y to the other side. And then you're going to divide both sides by 3. And that means y equals to 4. Okay. Therefore, my solution, x comma y, is 3 comma 4. Alright, so that's dealing with how to work with equations that have decimals, brackets, as well as fractions. So now I have some word problems here where we're going to have to make up the equation results and then we're going to go ahead and solve them. So what I'll do in this lesson is I'll help you come up with the equations and then in class we can go ahead and solve them. If you would like to solve them ahead of time, go ahead and do that. You guys have all the tools in order for you to solve them. However, we will check our answers in class. Okay, so my example here is Fitness Club Can Fit charges a $150 initial fee to join the club and a $20 monthly fee. And a Fitness RS charges initial fee of $100 and $30 a month. And the question here is to solve a linear system to find a number of months for which the charges are the same at both gyms. So whenever we're dealing with a word problem and we're trying to come up with our numerical equation, we're going to first identify our variables. So here we're going to have x and y as both our variables. So let x represent the number of months and let y represent the total cost. Okay, so for the first gym, which is called Can Fit, Can Fit, I have initial fee of $150 and there's a monthly fee of $20. So my total cost is the number of months that I join And every month I have to pay $20, so 20 times the number of months that I'm joining the gym, plus initial fee of $150, that's up front, you gotta pay. That's my first equation. And my second one is I have fitness, RS. My total cost here is, again, $30 per month, so it's 30x, plus $100 of my initiation fee. That's my second equation. And then you can label your equation and you can go ahead and solve this by either using substitution or elimination. Since they have not specified which method to use, you can go ahead and either use graphing, substitution, or elimination to solve your equations. Okay, and we're going to do the exact same thing for this with our third example here. We're going to come up with our variables and our equation, and then we're going to go ahead and solve this in class. Okay, so example 3 is Bart recently got a job at Pet RS, and dog food sells at $25 per bag, and cat food sells at $15 per bag. During one of his shifts, Bart sells 32 items. His receipts totals $610. The question is, how many bags of dog food did Bart sell? And the second part is, how many bags of cat food did Bart sell? So again, we're going to identify our variables. So we're going to say let D represent the number of bags of dog food, and let C represent the number of bags of cat food. And the total numbers of bags that he sells is 32. So the bags, number of bags of dog food, plus the number of bags of cat food totals 32. And my second equation deals with my total cost. So it deals with the cost. And we do know that the dog food sells for $25 per bag. So $25 for every dog food that you sell, and $15 for every cat food that you sell, and the total comes out to $610. So this equation deals with the money portion, and this equation deals with the quantity portion. So that's my equation 1 and equation 2, and we're going to go ahead and solve that in class. If you would like a little head start, please go ahead and solve them. We'll check our answers in class, and that is our homework. Thank you.